Hi, everybody. My name is Donna Gorton. Welcome to my show, Willows, and I am with Summer Fusion Media Company. And so tonight, oh my good grief, my cup is dripping everywhere on me. Holy cow. Bad. Sorry, guys. You know, way to start the show. Let me just grab this really quick. Oh my God, soak myself. Sorry, let's try this again. My name is Donna Gorton. Welcome to my show, The Willows Bend. Tonight we're going to be talking about If There Be Dragons. I am welcome to Soma Fusion Media Company, and we are going to be covering this in depth tonight. I kind of had to decide for length of show and just how in depth this topic goes, which I don't know if my members fully realized that when they chose it, but just with the history alone, it is a super long in-depth topic, not even to mention the metaphysical side of things. So I'm sticking tonight more to the historical side. And my tablet's also being wonky. I guess they're just due for technical issues tonight. So give me a moment, guys, and I will get my tablet rebooted. For some reason, it's logging off to where I can't access my Facebook group for comments. For those who are interested, I do have a Facebook group by the same name of the Willows Bend, and I do go live in there as well. Monday nights, I have a Facebook page where I do live readings on Friday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern time. And I'm also back in here Sunday night with Katie Kamara. Sorry, I'm still mopping up the wet spots in my cup. On Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern time for all of them. They're all at Eastern time zones. And so figure out the time zone difference depending on where you're listening in or watching in on. So bear with me. And my tablet's doing the polar opposite that I told it not to do right now. So I guess it's going to be a minute before I can view my comments in my group. But anyways, I always start each show for anybody who's new to me with doing kind of a group show / blessing and protection circle, just to prevent any negativity from coming in, interfering, or otherwise energies or people, trolls, etc. Oh my gosh, I just completely soaked my front. Wow. All right. Great way to start the night. But you know what? Willows don't break, they bend. See what I did there? Okay, so for some reason, my tablet's installing an update now that allows me to view the comments in my group. So my apologies to anyone and everyone who's in the show watching in my group. But we will still get the, wow, the protection going on and so forth while I'm waiting for that to stop being a object of source of frustration. I selected do not update now when it asked me, and it went ahead and is doing it anyway. So hopefully it's not going to take forever. All right, so with this sage, I cast a circle of protection around all of those who are watching, anywhere you are watching, whether through YouTube or Facebook land, and anyone else who is listening in the audience as well, that no negative energy being allowed to enter this space or impact anyone negatively or cause harm of any kind. And that energy follow them outside of the show as well into each and everyone's personal lives. And 1 second more, I'm going to get some hand sanitizer, just the closest thing I have to not being sticky in my hands tonight. So hopefully everyone out there is doing well. Nobody is sick, nobody is fighting, nobody is having horrifically difficult times in their life. And if you are, you know what? You're going to get through it because you're stronger than you know. And that's my belief on that one. Anyhow. And let's see. So, and I also wanted to announce too, which I will review with everybody towards the end of the show, that So this coming Wednesday, I am going to be having a hand procedure done on my thumb joint on my right hand, which precludes any handwriting for the next probably good week anyway, with stitches and so forth. So that's going to prevent me from doing any research for the subsequent Monday's show. So we're going to have to choose a topic from past topics, which how I think I'm going to handle that, because for those who are new to me, I do let the audience choose a topic, and it's a group decision, unanimous or majority rules. So if you choose to have any comments you want to input into my show while we're on air, or throw your 2 cents in, the phone number to call is 929-436-2866, and the meeting ID number is 522-657-2748. And in Australia, it is the 612-801-56011. And the same meeting ID number, 522-657-2748, just in case anybody is interested. But yeah, normally within my group of the Willows Bend, we throw out topics at the end, and we all vote on what, well, you guys all vote on what I'm going to be covering the following week. But this week we're going to have to choose from past cover topics, because I won't be able to handwrite the notes for the research. You know, my hand's going to be all bandaged up and have stitches and all that happy stuff. So I'm working on getting over to my YouTube group right now, or Facebook group, I mean. Thankfully, the tablet did not take the entire show to finish uploading its updates and so forth. There we are. Well, almost. There we are. All right, that should almost do it. Come on, catch up to me. Have we got it? I think. Yes. Hi, everybody. Now I see you. So hi, Terry. Happy that you made it this time. And Sandy and Natalie and Aaron, of course, and Chris and Annette. And anybody else's comments I didn't see because I wasn't there when they started. But I'm with you guys, Tanya, too. Hope everyone is well in there. And Veronica, hi, lady. Welcome to my group. So, all right. So let's get started on this whole dragons, if there be dragons topic. Well, it was technically supposed to be just dragons, but you know me. I got to add a little zing to it. Hi, Marianne and Chris and Karen. So I had to rephrase it as if there be dragons. So, as always, we always start out the show by laying a foundation down of what the topic is. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch. Okay. Hopefully it's not nothing bad. I know I made a horrendous start to the show. Spilling my iced tea everywhere, all over the front of me, and my cup leaking, as you've seen happen before. And then my tablet being drunk. Oh, okay. Yes, I could count on you for that, Aaron, for making comments on that. So we always lay a foundation down of every topic, because not everybody knows the basics of what something is that we're talking about. I mean, everybody has a preset idea in their head of what a dragon is, if nothing else from modern media times, but it goes so far back. Like, I was really surprised at just how far back it goes. I love some dragons too, Chris, absolutely. Susan Long, Amaria, sweet dragons, we are, absolutely. Congratulations on your stop smoking endeavors, Aaron, for going a full week now. I know it's not easy. So, what is a dragon? A dragon is a mythical monster-like giant reptile. Now, in European traditions, hi Tammy, a dragon's a fire-breathing beast. They reference this monster a whole lot, which I wasn't crazy about, and tends to symbolize chaos or evil in many traditions. But there are still many that consider them good luck, or they are bringers of rain for crops and so forth, especially back in ancient times. I have not done that, but because I don't know that it would be this a full show or not. Autumn, she's asking if I've done a pentacle versus pentagram. They are different, and that would not be a full show. So that's pretty easy to explain, though. I am sure I probably wouldn't want to know in that. Hi, Ada, welcome. So to answer your question, so someone in my group is asking the difference between a pentacle and a pentagram. So really quickly, the pentacle is used for most pagan and Wiccan belief systems to represent the different elements, earth, air, fire, and water, and spirit. Whereas when it's tipped on its side, it is tend to be considered a satanic symbol or a symbolism of satanic practices and beliefs. So that's all it is. So I wear one actually and get it straight so it doesn't look like a pentagram. So that's it. So when it's tipped on its side, that is the satanic symbol, but I am not satanic. So there we go. Hey, Dad. My dad just came into the show in my group. So hopefully that answers your question really quickly for you, Autumn. Now I'm all hung up. Okay, so in Asia, they're seen as positive symbols of fertility associated with water in the heavens. But overall, in most cultures actually view dragons as being, symbolic of bringers of evil and violence and a voracious appetite and beasts of war and just wreaking chaos wherever they go. But there are some that view them positively. So, and again, we're only going to cover them tonight from the historic viewpoint of things, of how different cultures view them. And I am never going to be able to get this untangled on air, so I'm going to have to just take them off, but we'll wait. Okay. So historically, the first known mention of the word dragon, quote unquote, is in the ancient Greek text of the Iliad from around 762 CE. Now, for those who are not aware, in the world of archaeology, they have kind of started changing how they label the timeline stuff when they are dating objects. So to kind of remove the religious aspect from it. And so the, holy cow, okay, forget it, Donna. So rather than saying like before Christ's time or or after death for AD or BC, it is before Christ. It is now known as BCE or CE for before current era or current era. And that's it. So that's the only delineation. That's a difference. It's still marking it from year 0 forward or backward, depending on how it's viewed. I'm not sure what you're apologizing for, Autumn, but it's okay, whatever it is. So they've been a part of many, many cultures worldwide. So let's look at some of the histories and see what they are. So a belief in dragons goes back in Western culture to at least the high Middle Ages, which is considered to be 500 to 1400 current era. So if you go back to the year 500 and come forward, because archaeologically they always count time from starting at the furthest time back, coming to forward in time. So, oh, you didn't make it messed up, Autumn. I just happened to notice because I wear 3 different necklaces. So you didn't do it, honey. That happens naturally just from me moving around and not paying attention to them. So it goes back to then in Western culture, meaning the United States time frame of things. But the European culture, Asian culture, it goes way, 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 way back before then. So whoops, I must have skipped something. So they're often shown as having wings that kind of look bat-like in nature. 4 legs, they can be horned and are capable of breathing fire. However, in all cultures, they're not viewed the same way. So Eastern culture has many opposites that sound more like snake-like in nature. Okay, Aaron. Um, some don't have wings, some have four legs, a more serpentine-like creature who are highly intelligent beings. And earlier mentions describe them as more like giant serpents in ancient Near Eastern times and ancient Mesopotamian art and literature. So like what we know of the ancient artwork and any early writings that survived till now, they're more mentioned like a giant snake essentially. So but again, where they how they are viewed and how they look varies. So nearly all Indo-European uh, near east try that again, Near Eastern mythologies have stories involving the slaying of, quote, storm gods whilst out to sea. Now, Western cultures, modern day views of dragons are kind of a combination of various features of various traditions of dragons and or associated drawings of snakes, incorporating those things, those features into the view of what a dragon is. Um, so stereotypes we have even existing today about dragons is that they have this ravenous appetite, that they live in caves, that they hoard treasure. They're often seen as sole causes of destruction. And these myths are popular throughout various Western culture, especially in the fantasy and fictional worlds of writing and movies. And I mean, think of everything from Harry Potter to more recently, the dragon Smaug, who's portrayed in the Hobbit movies from J.R.R. Tolkien, which they did a really good job with that, I thought, through CGI, is representing the features of it. But it still portrays all of those features that are stereotypical in nature. Hi, Gina. Welcome to the show. And Smaug, the dragon, meets all of those things of living in the underground cavern system of the what had been the dwarven city, and hoards their great treasure that they had and isn't planning on giving it back, and has a long history of having caused this massive destruction throughout the world until he finally ended up kind of going to sleep, which they woke him up. But isn't it always the case? It's always a little person waking up the sleeping dragons, you know? How to train your dragon, exactly. You want to train your dragon for mayhem, says Karen. I don't doubt that you probably do. So ancient Chinese culture, on the other hand, often are portrayed as demigods, which are kind of a lesser form of gods that are, you know, you have the higher gods, higher up gods, which are many deities within those cultures. These would kind of be the next level down, and they are often in super ancient traditions are often seen for having good luck and having power over rain. And again, you know, most of it, sorry, can't see. Why can't you see, Marianne? Just curious. And if anybody is having any issues getting into the Facebook feed, you're more than welcome to go over to the YouTube channel for Soma Fusion, and it'll be live in there as well. Hi, Renee. But then I won't be able to see your comments. So it's kind of an either or thing. It's either the group or on YouTube, one of the two. But it's usually you guys on Facebook who are over on the YouTube channel chatting anyway. So in ancient Chinese cultures, were really transitioning into settling in one location versus being more mobile and on the go with things, and started actually staying put and growing crops to subsist off of. So having consistent rains without overdoing it was really important. And so the dragons were seen, you know, they would pray to the dragons in order to bring the rain. I thought Karen said dragon for me. Oh, okay. Thought you're having trouble viewing the feed, Marianne. Now, emperors were the only ones allowed to have dragons portrayed on their house, their clothing, or their personal items in ancient Chinese culture. Commonalities that were seen cross-culturally with them Yep, we all need a dragon, you know. The world could be a better place. So they often show signs of hybridization, meaning that they often have traits combining different types of animals and even, you know, birds and so forth into one being, which was really common across, I think, most cultures way back then. Greek and Roman artwork have it, Egyptian artwork and Egyptian deities, all like they all used to do that of mixing the different beings together into one. Um, well, you can't see over them. You guys are singing in my group there. Uh, so there's traits of hybridization in the ancient form or view of dragons back then. So they had some signs of avian traits, feline, reptilian features, snake-like features, reptilian scaly skin, 4 legs with 3 to 4 toes on each foot, followed by a bird-like talons at the end, you know, the claws. They also had spinal nodes running down their back, i.e., spikes. They're also a tail with rows of serrated teeth, much like the jaws of a shark's teeth type of thing, where they have the serrated edges, like a steak knife, even. Oh, you guys are funny. So several modern scholars believe that the distant cousin of today's crocodiles, which were significantly larger than what we see today, obviously, which are plenty big enough in my book, bear the closest resemblance to what they may have perceived as dragons back in the day. Hi, Miss Faith. Welcome to the show. So origins of the word dragon. It entered the English language in the early 13th century from a combination of cultures, including the French language for dragon, to later draconum, meaning huge serpent or dragon in Latin. In ancient Greek, which the meaning was for a serpent or giant sea fish, because in many ancient cultures, they really perceived them as kind of water dwelling or ocean dwelling creatures that are, you know, they had, especially, hi Jessica, welcome. They, you know, fought a lot of, especially back then when early trade routes were being established and many people were lost at sea during those times. I mean, that was rough living and the bare bones basics for equipment and so forth. It was not uncommon to go out to sea on a trip and not come back. And so I'm sure much of it was created to make kind of heroic stories. And if there were any survivors from a horrible storm that killed a bunch of people on board, then, you know, they would trump it up as being something, you know, monstrous in nature and some horrific sea beast that's coming out of the water and attacking the ships. No, I'm not saying that there isn't possibly something like that that exists in the depths of the oceans. Much of the ocean waters are still go, you know, unnavigated and unexplored on our parts because we don't have the technology to get to the depths of all of the places on Earth yet with the world's oceans. So who knows? I've heard a lot of different theories that kind of make sense. Sandy said, my oldest son used to have an iguana that reminded me of a dragon. Yeah, and those are thought to be some of the possible or what could have been perceived as relatives of what got perceived as dragons back in the old days, so to speak, where you know, people didn't understand reptiles back then, to say the least, but they were also much larger. Now, that doesn't account for all of them, though, and we're going to get into that in a minute. So, let's see, all references are also point to them having very bright eyes and having a deadly glance or sharp eyes, meaning you don't want to stare them in the eye too long because it can be intimidating, but having kind of that reptilian eye to it. But because of their super high intelligence levels that they were supposed to have, you know, you weren't going to outwit them by any means. So the origins of some of the myths and legends surrounding them. Now, it's of interest to note that there's several bones hanging outside, and some of you may have heard of this. I've heard of it before, and I've actually seen it shown on some show somewhere at some point in my travels. When I came across it, I was like, oh yeah, I remember seeing that. So there's these bones hanging outside of a church, a cathedral, actually. Um, Sorry, little girl, I need my sweater, honey. I'm getting the draft chill on me badly. Give me a second, guys. I had to oust the cat off my sweater. But on the plus side, part of it's warm. So there we go. Okay. Hey, Stace. How are you, love? Okay. There we go, I think. So these bones hang outside of this cathedral. It's called the Wawal Cathedral. It's in Poland, and the legend states that they're dragon bones. They're kind of like up in the corner of a door, the doorways into the church. And interestingly, they were actually investigated at one point, and they were found to be from a Pleistocene mammal, perhaps a whale, from the Pleistocene period dating back to 2,580,000 to 11,700 years ago, which basically during our last ice age. So these bones were from some animal that dated back to then and were not indeed reptilian in nature, or it was thought not to be. So, but they still swear, even after hearing the scientific evidence of the identification of them, still say they're dragons, and they're looked at as being a kind of a protective thing for the church, so they don't take them down. Boom, how about that? Just don't catch fire, Erin. So some anthropologists have suggested that perhaps our abiding interest and fear even of dragons can be linked to our instinctive fear reactions regarding snakes, also seen towards sometimes large cats, birds of prey, that type of thing. Now, I don't know too many people who have an innate fear of large cats, but this is what the research referenced. So anthropologist David E. Jones, whose book, quote, An Instinct for Dragons, he cites a study that found that 39 out of 100 people are scared of snakes, and is especially prominent in children. Even in places where snakes are very rare to be found, they still tend to have an instinctive fear of them anyway. Now, I think part of that may be teachings within their culture, stories they get told about them, and built up to be something to be terrified of. I don't know, but it's a common fear that many have. Hi, Alice. Even if they're not, used to having seen them to know what they look like, people tell stories and they add to the stories and make them bigger as in their retelling. Exactly. I just grabbed a sweater too, Karen. So there we go. Let's see. So even all dragons have reptilian snake-like features, no matter what they are said to be a hybrid of with their other features. They are still primarily seen as serpent-like or having snake-like features. You're wrapped up in your blankie, says Renee. You know what? I would be too if I could. But that'd probably be kind of amusing to see on air. So we forewent that. You're eating so less typing. Well, that's new. Just kidding. So where do dragons live? Places are fraught with dragons, or danger. Sorry, try that one again, Donna. Dragons are thought to be residing in places that early humans found dangerous to access, such as caves and underground warrens and tunnels and things of that nature. So, I think that kind of would serve to go with what their thoughts about dragons were, that putting them in a dangerous location that humans couldn't easily get to explore makes them even more mysterious. Going to be 17 degrees by Thursday. Wow. You're in Texas too, Chris, so that's really cold for down there. Nebraska hoodie on. I don't have a Nebraska hoodie, Tanya. Yeah, Dad, I don't have a Nebraska hoodie. Just kidding. In shorts and a tank top. Well, geez, Sandy, you must be warm in there. Yeah, we had a couple inches of snow last night, and I have to go out tomorrow, which I'm not looking forward to, but it's what it is. Everyone's talking about their weather. Yeah, I'm in New York too. Well, not in the city like you are, but That is cold. Yeah, I heard there's some Arctic blast that's supposed to be coming down across the country in the United States this coming week, which I'm not looking forward to, but it happens every winter. So anyhow, Adrienne Mayer, in her book The First Fossil Hunters, meaning send one to her. Oh, I'm just teasing. He wouldn't send me a hoodie like that. He's going topless. So dinosaurs, mammoths, and myth in Greek Roman times was written back in the year 2000. She argues that some stories of dragons may have been inspired by discovering some of the ancient fossils belonging to some of the above beings, like mammoths, dinosaurs, and so forth, that perhaps finding the fossils, people automatically jump to conclusions as to what they were. I like funnel cakes too, Karen, but I don't get funnel cakes often. So in various cultures, she states that they've had access to finding fossilized remains, and it's that they were thought to be dragon bones. However, it's like they're common to find in areas like China, and they kind of call all fossilized remains that get found in China. Many people call them all dragon bones, and they get used in traditional Chinese medicine a lot. The fossils do. So they grind them up and use them medicinally and sell them everywhere. But yeah, they're all called dragons. Even if modern science has shown what they are, they still call them all dragons. So global warming can kiss your ass. Well, yeah, I mean, it is overall way warmer than normal around the world, but I mean, icebergs and things are melting that typically don't melt, but we've hurried up and rushed the process, basically. Okay. So she does go on to discuss that's how, or that's not the case in all cultures, where those finds just aren't common in those places, yet they still have different dragon stories that are passed down in their histories. For example, many Scandinavian stories of monsters and dragons exist more from folk knowledge or based on exaggerations. Of living reptiles like Komodo dragons, for example, Gila monsters, iguanas, alligators, or alligator lizards. Those places don't have any sort of, or very few fossil remains found of dinosaurs of any kinds. I did have that thought of Annette, but I didn't say it out loud. So, it comes into question then, where is that knowledge coming from within their history when they didn't have anything to base those stories on? Personally, I think it probably had to do with, more and more trade routes were opening up where different cultures were starting to interact. Hey, Miss Amanda, how are you, beautiful lady? More and more cultures were starting to interact, and through trade routes, through new even what used to be thought that even those who lived on the coast, that they hadn't mastered seafaring yet to be able to travel to other places worldwide, that they now are thought, yeah, maybe they could have done so. So those people from one culture is having an influence on another culture, I think. And in the, they're going to spend the night or some time in one place before journeying onward, in which case they're going to be, kind of like, well, let's spend the night. And what did you do? You don't have TV and computers back then. You sit around a fire, you tell stories, and you share your histories and so forth. So they would probably have picked something up from another culture or person there, and then coming back in. Katie, I don't know if you can hear me or not. Katie?
I can hear you.
No? Okay. Christopher is saying he's waiting in the room to be let into the meeting, by the way.
He's coming.
Minus 14 degrees in Nebraska. That's really, really cold, Dad. No thanks. Sorry, I didn't know if you could hear me without your headphones on.
I
So,
hear you loud and clear.
oh, you can. I didn't know if Katie could hear me trying to get her attention
No,
without
I
her
no,
head.
I do have my headphone. When I have my headphones off, I can definitely hear you.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. All right. So, now heading over to places like Africa, um, in Egyptian mythology has a serpent called Apep, who resides in the Duat, which is the Egyptian underworld, and the attributes of Apep is it was thought to be the height or length, whichever you want to look at it as, of about 8 men, and with a head made of flint, which is a type of stone, and that it was responsible, like thunderstorms and earthquakes were thought to be caused by its roar, which is a pretty mighty roar. Solar eclipses were thought to be from Apep attacking the sun god Ra during the daytime hours. But there are some papyruses and even wall art within the ancient Egyptian culture that still exist today, showing the sun god Ra of like spearing Apep from a boat in the water standing above him, where he's kind of swimming under the length of the boat. So some of those papyruses still exist today, which is pretty awesome if they survived all that time. Papyrus is really just, pulp that's beaten down and flattened out and dried. So it's pretty fragile stuff. So check my new $8 for a funnel cake. Yeah, no, that's way expensive. That's more than even fairs cost. So in Asia, the druk, which is AKA also known as a dragon, is one of the national symbols of Bhutan, which is a landlocked country of the eastern Himalayas and borders China to the north and India to the south. As such, it has influences of all intermixed cultures within their own culture. And so they even have stories of in ancient writings regarding dragons within their culture. As such, like China, for example, the Chinese dragon, we still see it, say, if you go out to eat in a Chinese food restaurant, you may see dragons within their artwork on the walls. It's still very popular, and we've also seen them in parades and things where they're have a bunch of guys standing underneath them with the poles, so they're making it look like the dragons can move as they're running down the street, type of thing. So it's still very prominent within the Chinese culture. But the Chinese dragon is the highest ranking creature in their animal hierarchy. Their ancestors of the dragon have been found on from the Neolithic period, which is 8,000 to 4,000 BCE, before current era. Pottery that's been found, pottery shards that have been found from dating back to that time, and the Bronze Age, from ritual vessels and so forth, dating back to 3,300 BCE, before current era. And a number of popular stories deal with raising dragons, and others still are stories of humans healing dragons, taming and training them, etc. Dragons were also seen as rain bringers, and were often sought out for such purposes, or they were prayed to, and etc., for bringing rain or for help with healing. Rain-making rituals involving dragons are still common in many smaller Chinese villages today. So even today, we still see dragons constructed they use like grasses and bamboo, cloth strips, and paper that are like 16 feet long, and get paraded through cities as part of the dragon dance. It's previously done to bring good weather and strong crops, but now it's done more for entertainment purposes. I spoke to that. Yep, often seem to be protectors of the earth. Yep. And they're also still oftentimes the puppets. If I call them puppets, because you have them, there's men with poles standing underneath them that will move the poles to make it look like they're running in the streets and rearing their heads and so forth. They're still used to celebrate the Chinese New Year celebrations that occur. Um, there's slight variances from culture to culture throughout Asia with their appearance. So in ancient Mesopotamia, these ancient people were unaware of dinosaurs or anything else, which again, it makes you wonder still where all of these stories came from. But that's my thoughts on it. Again, it's through like intercultural trading and stuff of supplies and goods. Excuse me, and even exploration of people sharing their stories from their own homelands and so forth. But they had similar creatures there, but still certain stories of dragons most likely learned from other. You have your own Falcor. A water dragon tattooed on your. Yes, your dragon is badass, Amanda.
You noticed that is in coats of arms back in the old country?
Yes. And we're going to delve into that somewhat with the European history of that, and how they are looked at and viewed from that time frame. So we'll be getting there too soon. Go get your other beer, Britannia. Yeah, that's what I talked about, Stacy, is that because the topic is so big, if you include the spiritual side of it as well as the historical side, I mean, it'd be like a 4-hour long show, which is a bit long. So we're really only doing the historical side of things this time. If y'all want a show done from the mystical, spiritual side of it, then, you know, we can vote on that. You have bearded dragon. I knew somebody once who had a bearded dragon, Marianne. A couple people, actually. But so if that's something you guys are interested in, we can throw it on the topic to vote on, or on a topic board to vote on. But this is more just the historical side of it, because it is, that alone is pretty big. They are very docile, yes. I don't mind reptiles of any kind, as long as they're not dangerous to me, like they're not gonna look at me and poison me or something, then I'm good. That's how I view it. We can do that, Tanya. Yeah, if you guys are interested, let me know in the chat, because I am watching the Facebook comments throughout the show, and keeping an eye on them. So, and I'm gonna switch plugs just so my other battery doesn't run down too low on the tablet off to the side here. That one runs down quicker because it's older. Okay, yeah, so there is a whole nother like part 2 that we could do on this topic. So this is more just the historical side of it, of giving you guys a foundation, as always, on a topic to have a better understanding of it. So everyone is saying yes so far in chat, so we'll put it on the voting table. So a draconic creature appears in Mesopotamian artwork, that had the 4 parts, meaning the 4, like the front arms, essentially, but it's what they referenced in the research as the 4 parts of a lion, and had hind legs, tail, and wings of a bird. And that appears in the Acadia period. Sorry. Everybody's saying yes. Okay. So that appears in the Acadia period from 2334 through 2154 before current era, BCE, till the Neo-Babylonian period, which was from 626 to 539 BCE. Other draconic creatures, they had horns, the body and neck of a snake, the front legs of a lion, and the hind legs of a bird. Yeah, snakes don't bother me as long as they're not poisonous to me. Then I'm fine. If it can't kill me, I'm good. So even in the Bible, there are references to dragons in there. So Isaiah 27:1 says, quote, "On that day, Yahweh shall punish it with his sharp and great sword, Leviathan, the fleeing serpent, the twisting serpent. He will slay the dragon in the sea." Snakes are beautiful, absolutely. Nope, that's still on the voting table, Tanya, for I can't say it right. And a we talk. There we go. If I look at the word, it throws me on pronouncing it. I don't know why. Did you really, Chris? She says she used to have 2 boa constrictors. Very cool. I love pythons, yeah. I've held them before and had no issue with them.
They're not poisonous, so I would not mind having them as a pet.
They do have teeth and they can squeeze you to death, but you just don't put yourself in that predicament. You'll be all right. Pandas aren't beautiful. Wired pandas not beautiful. Never mind, Aaron. I probably shouldn't have asked you that. Okay, so the biblical references of dragons are. Oh, okay. I was wondering why you were personally finding them that way, but okay, makes more sense now. Also in the Bible, in Job 41 1 through 34, it has detailed descriptions of the Leviathan as being so powerful that only Yahweh could destroy it. And also Job 41 19 through 21 says the Leviathan exhales smoke and fire, kind of identifying it as a dragon without coming out and saying it's a dragon. The post-classical literature. Now, in the Sufi literature, Rumi, which many of us in the spiritual realm of the world and practices, we recognize Rumi as the author of many things that we post online and so forth, and share out and stuff. Rumi had written that the dragon symbolizes the sensual soul, greed, lust, etc. And Rumi was born in 1207 and died in 1273 in present-day Turkey, and was of the Islam religion, just as an FYI. It takes time to look whether it's poisonous or not. So in Indo-European culture, and nearly every mythology from here has a hero slaying a dragon in some form and story. And whether it's male testosterone getting the best of them or what it was, or seen as the ultimate conquest perhaps, but all of their writings seem to be really full of those types of stories, and all surviving literature from there. Hero is some kind of a thunder god in most cases, who is battling the serpent, and most stories the serpent has multiple heads or is somehow associated with water in most cases as well, like from the depths of the ocean, what have you. In ancient and Greek and Roman times, dragon translates to either giant snake or serpent, with supernatural characteristics, or is controlled by something that is of a supernatural power. It first appears in the Iliad, which was an ancient Greek poem usually attributed to Homer. While many venomous snakes do have cat-shaped pupils, it's not always an indication of venomous. We have Virginia cottonmouths that do not have the cat-shaped pupils. Yeah, those things are badass snake. Yeah, those are dangerous, cottonmouths.
They have a very aggressive temper, too.
They are. They're one of the more deadly snakes here in the United States. So the Iliad was written or attributed to Homer, and it was an ancient Greek poem that was written. And in the 5th century, Greek historian Herodotus, he reported that the western Libya was inhabited by monstrous serpents that kind of ran and ruled the land there. So fast forward to the snakes have legs, throw them in the fire, they come out. Well, that is true, but it's kind of mean to throw them in the fire, though. So fast forward through the Middle Ages, the modern version of the dragon developed through the snake-like dragons of old here, up, going forward to the Middle Ages. And this is more kind of what you were talking about, Christopher. That a 12th century Welsh monk recounts a legend where a child prophet, Merlin, sees a Romano-Celtic warlord trying to build a tower on Mount Snowdon, to keep safe from the Anglo-Saxons who had been trying to attack. The tower keeps sinking, and Merlin tells the warlord that under the foundation is a pool which contains 2 sleeping dragons, one white and one red. So he goes ahead and he wants to try to drain the pool of water in order to rebuild the tower from the foundation up, right? And get it to stay standing. And once the water is drained, that these 2 dragons start to fight each other. The white dragon was actually in the story symbolic for being England. Hey, Aaron. Hi, sweetie. How are you? So the white dragon was representative of England, and the red one was for the Welsh, who were at war during that time. Now, the oldest recognizable image of a fully modern dragon appears as early as 1260 AD, or after death, or in current era, from a medieval manuscript, MS Harley 3244, produced in 1260 CE. Has a set, pay attention to class, Aaron. Sorry.
Oh, well, but my ancestor, Edward I, unified the Welsh and British.
Well, there you go. Yeah, well, I guess this was something
This
that
was part of a unification story.
it was put into the story, but it was really to represent the two different warring factions of the Welsh and in the English. And
Yes.
of course, white being seen as being good, which was supposed to be the English, of course. And the side that was of the good ones would be the white ones.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of prejudice in that way, but
Well, that's the 13th century for you.
well, we still see it today to some degree, unfortunately.
Yes.
So, from a medieval manuscript, MS Harley 3244, produced in 1260 in the current era, it has a set of bat-like wings and a tail longer than most, which is more like what we view dragons as looking like in our mythology still existing today. It's also said to have lived in caves or underground in a lair. It's envisioned as a greedy, gluttonous, and having a voracious appetite, which again, from that time frame, even the two dragons were living under the foundation, underground, kind of resonates with that. So it kind of backed that all up. So hi, Mary, and beautiful Natalie, and my son Aaron, of course. Oh, water moccasins, yeah, them nasty, Sandy. I mean, I respect them for being what they are, but yeah, they're dangerous. So dragons are often looked at as being identified with Satan, which, again, it depends on who's telling the story of them as to how it gets viewed. Now, there was a story. Now, I found this cross-reference interesting in the research. So a ways back, I had done a show, I believe, on the Loch Ness Monster. And it was talking about in the research about a story regarding this incident that happened allegedly in Scotland of this water beast that was attacking men as they tried to cross the river, and that there was a priest who was journeying somewhere between places with his entourage, and that he had encountered this great water serpent beast, and he simply held up the cross to it, and he basically told it to, well, for all intents and purposes, be gone with you, and that it go back under the water, never to be seen or heard from again. And that was thought to be kind of a precursor of the identification of the Loch Ness Monster and what it could have possibly been. Now, within tonight's research, it also mentioned this, except in the form of a serpent or dragon, of an encounter with the priest holding the cross and telling the dragon to basically be gone, and it just up and left. I just found that cross-reference interesting. I mean, in a way it makes sense because you're still dealing with European culture where they were given those properties, especially in the Middle Age, and of Catholicism being like the one true religion and against the Protestants and so forth. So the priest would be, all powerful, so to speak. And again, snakes and things of that nature were given satanic properties on how they were viewed. Water serpent beast. Yes, that's what I was saying before, Tanya, is that the Leviathan, there's actually quotes in the Bible pertaining to that, and about basically God being the only one to have the ability to strike down a Leviathan. And that was from the ancient Hebrew Bible that got translated into English, and I read a quote about it. But it's referenced in a couple different places in the Bible, both in Job and Isaiah, I believe it was. So I just found that cross reference was interesting regarding a priest, but being viewed two different ways, because nowadays we kind of view the Loch Ness monster as possibly being a leftover from like the Pleistocene period of a vegetation eating dinosaur, basically, that somehow got trapped within the loch, or there's some underwater passages that allows it to go back and forth, what have you. But there's been no hardcore firm evidence found of it. But there's not hardcore evidence found of a lot of things, but it doesn't mean it doesn't exist. So that's how I view it. But I just thought that story was interesting, that it crosses over between Loch Ness and dragons. So, but no, I've never heard the Loch Ness monster being called a dragon, interestingly. So dragons appear in most cultures in some form all across Europe, and more recent history kind of depicts them in works of fiction, fantasy, for example, like we talked about at the beginning, like Smaug from the Tolkien's Hobbit movies, also from the famous board game that came out in the 80s, Dungeons and Dragons. I know my brothers were huge into that game. I know people are still into it today. There's also actually a study of dragons called dragonology. Aaron says, when I hear Leviathan, all I can think of or picture is Peter Weller from the RoboCop movie of the same name. And when I hear Leviathan, I actually think of the show Supernatural and their portrayal of them. But yeah, we're talking about dragons, Aaron. Sorry, honey. I didn't see your comment. Yeah, Chris, that is another option for Nessie. I agree. Potentially, anyway. So you can also go and study dragonology if you chose to, from, I'm not sure where one might study dragonology from, other than just perhaps on your own, of learning all the different folklore and the different varying descriptions, because it does get quite in depth. And even with, was Dungeons and Dragons around in the 70s? I didn't realize that. I never heard about it until the 80s anyway, and my brothers used to play it all the time. I wasn't allowed, of course, because I was a mere younger sister, and younger sisters are not allowed to play such things. But yeah, I never, to this day, have never played Dungeons and Dragons. No, it's okay, sweetie. I just didn't miss your first comment, whether it was Facebook or just me going between two tablets or not. I don't know. So you can study dragonology and I guess take on the title of being a dragonologist through kind of like, like a demonologist. It's not necessarily something that you're given a degree in per se, as much as you can earn the title through just your research and extensive studies of it. It's okay. Me either. Yeah, exactly, Amanda. Like were not played Magic the Gathering. I've not heard of that one. So apparently lots of us were not allowed to play that. Oh, so there you go. Thank you, Ramona. She just posted a link in my chat of a book from Amazon, Dragonology, the complete book of dragons. So yeah, I'm assuming it would just be somebody who studied all the various cultures, representations of dragons and the history, and touching on all the different ways, metaphysical, spiritual, and the folklore surrounding them. I mean, I always view it as all stories have to start somewhere, is how I view it. And just because it's a story doesn't mean it didn't exist at one time. That's how I look at things. So all folklore has to come from someplace, somewhere. I mean, the idea that somebody could come up with all of these ideas of their own creation without having something to base it on. Now, whether it is dinosaurs or not, but again, there's many cultures that have very few dinosaur fossils or otherwise found in their vicinity to have an idea of, what a dinosaur is even back in those days, to base using fossil evidence as completing a picture in your head of what a dragon is or isn't, or saying, oh my gosh, that must be a dragon. They don't have that there. So Acid Man, what is Acid Man, Karen? So that's really the bulk of the history and the foundation of um, the of dragons across the globe. Really, there's different minor variations in it. However, most are pretty similar to that in nature. You, Aaron Kilmer. Well, I don't know actually. Karen made the comment. LSD rye bread trips. Oh, okay. Well, I'm not familiar with those, so never did such things. I really didn't. Was too scared. Um,
I
only
never got into recreational medicine either.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say I didn't party as a teenager by any means, because I certainly did, but I wasn't into hallucinogens at all. The only dragon I want to see is a shifter, please. You mean in person, Tanya? Or the topic? Yeah, I was always too scared of hallucinogenics, so always
Donna,
through the line. There's
Donna,
certain things I wouldn't put into me. What's that, Katie?
we have a caller.
Oh, okay, cool.
Area code 716. You are on
Hi
the
there.
air.
Hello?
Pardon? Yes.
Hi. What's your name?
My name is Tyler.
Hi, Tyler. I'm Donna. Nice to meet you.
Hi.
What can I do for you tonight?
Nothing really. My mom invited me to this dragon thing, and I told her to try to
Could
make
you
a
speak
sale.
up a little bit? I'm having trouble hearing you.
Oh, sorry. I was trying to make a sale earlier, and so I couldn't get to this phone call immediately. But my mom is Mary, and she was like, "Oh, we're talking about dragons," and I'm like, "Oh, okay." So my question is, I have this old Chinese dragon glass, and I tried to look it up online, and the closest ones I've come to are like $1,400. And
I totally
know it's
can't
nice.
hear you right now.
Hold on, let me try to get you off the
Okay.
speaker.
Are you Marianne's son?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you way better now. Thank you. Are you Marianne's son?
Yes, I'm one of them.
Okay, I did. I'm the one that put you into my group, so thank you for joining. By the way,
Oh, you're welcome.
yes. So I totally did not hear anything you were saying before. My apologies, but yeah, it was just really low.
Oh yeah, well, when my mom told me about this dragon meeting, I was trying to make a costume jewelry sale, and had to take pictures of the bags, and the customers wanted to know what the 925, and I'm not stupid. I'm looking for that stuff my damn self. That's where the money is. But my question is that what's your experience on an old Chinese brass dragon? Like old, like $1,400 worth. Like I know they're supposed to bring in wealth and luck and whatnot, right?
Well, those types of things were made for, still are today, made for Chinese New Year celebrations. So, I mean, I have no idea of what those things cost or not on the market. I don't follow that stuff. I just know that that's what the old ones used to be made of. I'm sure that newer ones have more up-to-date materials in them, but they're still used much in the same way as they were way back when, to celebrate the new Chinese New Year, as well as kind of give thanks for a prosperous coming year and good crops and so forth. So but yeah, price of that stuff, I have no idea of what the market is for that.
Yeah, believe me, I spent hours looking for this baby, and the closest thing I came up to was almost the same figure, but just a bit off, and those ones were some sort of antique guarding dragons or something for the royal palace, like mini dragons. I mean, it's cute.
Yeah, I don't
but
like. I'm not into the sales stuff like that, so I don't know what any of that goes for. That's just this
okay, well,
is the dragons. It got voted on as a topic for last week, so that's how it works in my show. Is that the audience members choose the topic that we're gonna do, and then I go and do the research and present it the coming week. So last week they chose dragons, so this week is the topic I'm presenting is on dragons in various cultures and stuff. So I have no idea of what they cost antique wise or otherwise. I don't follow that stuff. So
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I apologize, but no clue.
Oh, no, don't apologize. I mean, I just figured I could get a hand on this, whatever this is.
Yeah, I have
Gotta
no
take it
idea
to
what it is. That I
Buffalo.
wouldn't even begin to know where to direct you other than like eBay or something like that, possibly. But other than that, no clue.
Nope, eBay, Amazon, Google. Google doesn't even have it.
And I
Nothing for
have no
sale. I was
idea.
like,
Maybe
what?
just be a closely guarded Chinese secret thing and not something that would be. I mean, the materials they made it out of were very organic in nature. So the idea that it could survive that many hundreds of years intact would be pretty slim to none, because they were made of like bamboo and plant matter and cloth strips. So something that was made 1,000 years ago isn't likely to survive time that well, when it's
Oh,
organic.
of
So
course, but this is not made of bamboo. It's made of copper, I believe. Copper or brass? Bronze? Brass. Definitely brass.
never even seen one up close other than, or they show it on TV of them dancing in the parades with them.
Well, if
That's
I
my
could
own.
send you a picture of it, I bet you'd be interested. You'd be like, oh, wow, that's really cool. Was he on like a stream or is he on a cloud?
Well, I mean, I know about them, but I don't have any interest in collecting them or otherwise. So I really am not going to be much help in that way for that stuff. So I actually am more interested in dragons metaphysically and spiritually than anything else. So,
Okay, how about spiritually? What advice can give for me for spiritually? Like, what does it mean that I have this dragon spiritually?
well, some people believe they can have a dragon as a spirit guide,
Huh.
and then up to an individual to look to making a connection to them. But beyond that, like, everybody has different beliefs on that stuff anyways, but that's people were saying in the chat, in the group's chat tonight, that they would be interested in having a second show. So basically that would be what next week's show is on the metaphysical side of dragons and how all that stuff is viewed. So
Neat.
if you have an interest in learning more about that, I would recommend coming to next week's show. Well, no, it technically wouldn't be a next week's show because I'm having hand surgery done, so I won't be able to do the writing. So we're going to cover an older topic next week. It'll still be a live show, but just an older topic that hasn't been done in quite a while. But we're going to put it on the voting list anyways for when I can resume handwriting for research purposes. So.
Oh, okay. So next time it's
Yeah,
gonna be like a review of something that's
as
already
well.
happened, right?
What's that?
So like next time this happens, it's going to be like a review of a topic you've already done.
The next show is I've been doing my show for over 2 years now, so I've had like over 180 episodes on 180 odd different topics that I've covered over
Whoa.
the years. So yes, I'm going to pull an older topic that hasn't been talked about in quite a while because there's a lot of newer members that haven't experienced them. And I no longer have my old archives available for people to access of the old shows. So yeah, I'm going to cover a topic that was done quite a while back and dust it off because I can't, after my hand surgery, I won't be able to handwrite for a good week because of stitches and stuff. So, yeah.
You know, if you had a YouTube channel, that would and had hire someone to do the writing, the artwork, the graphics for you, that would
We are up on YouTube. There is this Soma Fusion Network YouTube channel, and I have my own as well. But the former episodes you can't upload from Facebook to YouTube, so they got lost.
Oh, that's a bummer.
That is a bummer. So yes, next week's topic is going to be an older one, but everybody wants it to be put on the list to vote on to cover the metaphysical, spiritual side of dragons another time.
Okay, that's what's up.
So, but you're welcome to go look it up online, and I use the guideline. If I see the same information presented in 2 to 3 or more sites, that is probably pretty trustworthy to use and can help guide you on learning more about them from a spiritual aspect.
Yeah, I think it was yesterday. I liked how there was that one page with what the numbers meant spiritually,
Yeah.
and
That's
for a
synchronicity.
while, me and my business partner were finding a lot dollar bills, $2 notes with 666 in them, and a lot of sevens, like mostly sevens and 666s. And we were like, "Oh, this has to mean something." And we were like, "Ah, it's just a devil's note." And then we were like,
No.
"Ah, it turned out they're not worth much."
No, 666 is a creation of humankind on even being associated with anything satanic. It's not that. So there are numbers that are synchronicity is what it's called when things line up, and it's usually your higher beings that are there to help you, and they're trying to give you a message of some sort, and that's what those numbers are related to. It's said to give a meaning or a message you might need to hear in that moment. So if you're seeing a lot of the same numbers repeated all the time everywhere, well, it usually means something. And so those are lists of accepted definitions, explanations within the spiritual community as to what those mean.
I like that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
cool.
So there's a whole topic in the group. There is a section under the group photo. There's a bunch of gray colored tabs underneath the group photo, and one is called guides. And if you scroll down in there, there is a section on numerology, which is the bigger topic that is under is numerology. And it lists in there a whole bunch of stuff on different synchronicity things and about numerology in general.
There's a message here from Amanda that says the sitting dragon is rare. With that said, the brass dragon sculpture in Harbin is a unique distinction. The sculpture dates back to the Jin dynasty.
Oh, nice. And I don't know, that's
The
one
And
for or
you
the
need
puppet.
to look in if you want to
the
look
Jin
into it.
dynasty.
Yeah, the Jin.
The what dynasty?
Jin dynasty. So you'll need to do some research
Jin.
into it, and you'll be able to follow the leads from there.
Thank you. That really narrows it down. You just saved me like probably a week's worth of studying. Thank you
Well,
so
good luck
much.
with your
Oh,
search for that. And yeah, check out there's a whole bunch of different topics in the guide section in the group, dealing with different things, everything from numerology to gemstones and crystal usage and metaphysical properties of them to spiritual guidance to, I mean, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there. So I really set it up as a resource library for people within the group to access. So, and your mom is saying, "Ooh, Tyler." I guess she just realized you're on mute. So good luck finding what it is you're looking for, and welcome to my group and to my show as well. Hopefully you'll find what you're looking for, but I don't know anything about that stuff. So sorry, I can't be of more help.
oh, it's all good. You've helped me enough. And that lady telling Jin Dynasty. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Amanda. We love you.
Oh, her name's Amanda.
Yeah.
Thank
She's
you,
from-
Amanda. Oh, okay. I gotta go.
And just
But,
quickly, Tyler, before you leave, Amanda also said that Harbin, what she mentioned about Harbin being a unique distinction. Harbin, spelled Harbin, is a museum.
Harbon.
Bin.
Bin.
It is a museum.
Thank you. Is a museum.
So you
okay, I'll
need
go
to
to
find.
harbin.com
So
or
Harbin
something.
is the unique distinction, but the sculpture dates back to the Jin dynasty. So if you follow those two leads, you'll be able to find a lot more information.
Well, thank you so much, Amanda. That really narrows it down.
That's actually Katie.
Katie.
she's
Thank you, Katie.
I'm just passing on the message.
Yeah.
Yeah. Basically, Harbin has the sculpture, so you'll need to go look into Harbin, the museum, and then look into the Jin dynasty to find the information, the history behind it.
Okay, I will. Harbin.com. Thank you.
You're
Very, very helpful. All right, ladies, I gotta
Good luck
go.
on your search, then, Tyler.
That-
Thanks. I said good luck on your search, and thanks for calling in.
Thank you. I
Oh,
appreciate your call.
You're welcome. Thank you all, and God bless and have a great night, everybody.
You
Thank
too.
you.
Take care.
Yep, I will. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
That's what makes a show great when we have good callers.
Yep. I mean, unfortunately, I personally don't know anything about that collecting of dragon stuff in general. I mean, I'm sure there are many things that do survive from those time periods. However, yes, they're sitting mostly in museums at this point, or personal collections, and they're not something that's up for sale. So I don't involve myself in that side of stuff. So I'm not much help in that, but at least Amanda obviously has some knowledge of that. So that's awesome. And that's just one more reason why you rock, Amanda. Just saying.
As always, she does, doesn't she?
She always does. Absolutely. So if you guys want, we got a couple choices here. I can either write them out in group, or I can read some of them out to you now as far as choices for the next week's show of some of the older topics I was talking about for next Monday's show, since again I will be out of commission for handwriting. You know, it takes on average, I love you too, Amanda. On average, it takes me 4 to 6 hours of research time per show. And that's a lot of handwriting. So I'm not going to be able to do that next week. I'll still be in stitches and bandages and all that happy stuff. So unfortunately, that's not going to be a good option. So if you want to wait a second, I can just, it's like 3 steps from me, all the notebooks containing the topics. Let me know in chat if you want me to read some of options off to you now, or I can just put them into the group later, your choice. But that's the plan for next week. Or if you want to be my choice, then fine, I'll scroll through stuff and find things. Can we go over the RH negative again? I can give you a quick summation of it, Tanya, if we have, let's see what time is it. Yeah, we got time. I can kind of cover it today. No, it's a good thing, Gina, because this has been causing me a lot of pain. And so it's going to be fixed. And that's a good thing. So that part of my hand anyway will be fixed. And I've been dealing with it for years. So please, no sympathy there, because I'm happy to get it done at this point.
You'll be feeling better after the recovery period.
Yeah, at least with that part of my hand. I mean, I have other issues in there, but you know, it's one part of the problem that does make a lot of fine motor skill stuff difficult. Tanya, the RH negative show might be in the archives of the group. That may have been one that was covered after. I think it was actually, we did do that show in the new group. So you might try looking up in the, so in the group, right, on the face of the group chat, or the group show, not show. In the upper right-hand corner is a small icon that's shaped like a magnifying glass. And in there is, look in Willows Bend RH negative factor, and see if it comes up, because I'm pretty sure it's in our archives there. And in that case, you could just rewatch the other show. If it's not, then we can review it again. How's that? Knights Templar, Druids, or Germanic tribes as topics in the future. I can add those onto the list, sis. And like I said, if you want me to grab the notebooks and read you some of the topics, we certainly can do that. Love you too, Tanya. Make a call for hubby about roads. Okay, I'm assuming bad roads, maybe. Because, you know, after next week's show, then we will be looking, then we can vote on the topics that are on the table, because by then I should be up to handwriting again, hopefully. If not, you know, I'll let you know that. But so let me see. So let's see, where can we put you up here? Knights Templar.
That'd be an excellent topic.
Yeah, I know we've talked about it before, but I almost think it was within another show. I don't know that it was a whole separate show. Sandy Griffin is usually my memory with regards to other topics that we've covered already in the past. Knights Templar, Druids, or Germanic tribes. Gotcha, Amanda. And for those who are wondering, who are watching the show that may be new to me, if you see a gentleman popping up on screen, that is Christopher, who is a helper of ours with the network and a huge supporter of ours. So it may just somebody's hitting the wrong, the wrong button, whatever. But if you see him pop up, that's who it is. It's Christopher. So no worries there. As to if it's still the same feed. Yeah, that's Christopher. Okay, let me catch back up on comments. Everyone's saying good night. I haven't even ended the show yet, Christopher, and everybody's telling me good night already. I guess they want to get rid of me that quick.
I would
Sandy,
never get rid of you. You're awesome.
thank you, Christopher. Natalie says she's good with any of those. Sandy says we didn't cover that. It was included in another show, Knights Templar. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, I was thinking it was something that was mentioned before, but not necessarily fully covered. But why don't we just have story time, says Erin, where I read us stories from books. I would love for her to read us Goodnight Moon. That would be a really short show, though, Erin, to read Goodnight Moon. Natalie is saying, nice to meet you, Christopher. Glad to have a name to go with the face. And yeah, so oftentimes he's hanging out kind of in our background, and he's there to help, with stuff. And then the other network we were with, Christopher handled like taking in calls and monitoring that stuff for us behind the scenes with the show. So he comes on to hang out with us. Yeah, Goodnight Moon was a favorite of my daughter's as well, but that would be a really short show. And I don't know that I still have a copy of that book on here. Well, my daughter's, I have it, but it's probably well packed by now. I mean, not just Goodnight Moon, but others. So you want a whole show dedicated to reading children's stories? Is that what you're asking? Natalie says, sorry, I can't stand Goodnight Moon. Call me a Scrooge if you must. I read Goodnight Moon 500 times at least. I think every mother has, Sandy. Yeah, that's why no, this is Christopher. Daryl is somebody else. He was the head of the other network we were on. Yeah. So, yeah, Christopher is also on Goddesses and Devils with us as well. Do you know what the Giving Tree? I do know the Giving Tree. That was always a favorite story of mine, and great lessons behind it as well. I don't know the book Super Fudge. I think that was after my daughter's childhood time. Yeah, I still have all the books my daughter had. I still have them all because I don't throw anything away, in case it's something she wanted to pass down to her children someday if she has any. But they're packed. Some are here though. Yep, Shel Silverstein's. He's awesome.
I was just
For
going to say,
children's
Donna.
stories and the backstory, that could be interesting. What's that, Katie?
I was just going to say, Donna, this is the first show that you've had on Soma Fusion Media. Do your listeners know that you've transitioned and what Soma Fusion Media is all about?
Yes, I shared that into the group as soon as it happened.
Okay.
And the really, really big link you gave me that had everything in it, I posted that in the group and I saved it into my announcements section for everybody as well. So, and that's who you're hearing now that's the voice of Katie, who runs Soma Fusion, owns it, operates it, is the mastermind behind us, the mother of us all, and within Soma Fusion.
I ain't the
Radio
mother of them all.
media
No, we run the network as a team.
We're your baby there.
Yeah, we're a bunch of, we've got lots of shows on the network. So, for those who don't know anything about Soma Fusion Media,
women in a male-dominated culture of
exactly
the
right.
radio culture and the strength of women. We're not at all anti-men by any means. You guys know that about me, at least, that I'm not a man basher by any kind. But, it's toxic men we don't like and we run away from. But the other, we're not against men. It's just we are really supporting and focusing and promoting women who have shows who are really kind of struggling against the male dominated culture. And so that's really what the new Summer Fusion is about. And we have several others who also have shows up there. We just got up and running on our own, separated from the former network we were with before, and that was more male run. Katie did do a lot of the background work for that, but it's not her business. So Soma Fusion is hers. So she was the one who rocks that out and really got it all kicked off with the website and the Facebook group and the YouTube channel and all of that, and got us organized and going in a good direction. And I, of course, am always all for of strengthening the sisterhood of women in all formats. And, you know, we're here to straighten each other's crowns and hold each other up, not grind one another under each other's high heels. So I'm a big promoter of that one.
Exactly. And I do suggest for anybody who is listening right now, go over to the website. Somebody was just asking very early on in the show about the Facebook glitches and that. If you are happening to have Facebook glitches, I mean, I'm not having Facebook glitches, but, you know, every now and again somebody might. You can always go over to the YouTube channel, and it's usually in the description of the Facebook live video feed. Or you can also go over to, if you haven't already checked it out, go over to somafusionmedia.com, and you'll actually see an audio version of, there's a little player right at the top of the website as well, along with on the home page the YouTube feed. So you really can go over to the website if all else fails. If not, you can always just put a message in the chat and say, hey, I can't get the feeds, because we do have lots of other platforms that we stream to. It's not just Facebook or YouTube. So, but there's lots of other shows on the network that you can listen to as well. There's no holds
stories. We got poetry by our lovely, amazing Amanda McManus, who did also help create the Soma Fusion network up and running as well. And she's got all of our backs 150%. Yes, Aaron, if you followed the happenings in my group, son, hint, hint, then you would see that, yes, I posted about all that stuff last week was a transition from Gorton over to Summer Fusion, and that's where I'm at right now, hon. And where I plan on staying for a good while.
Yeah, and that's exactly. And not only that, if you haven't also checked out, I know I'm giving you a whole heap of, leads here, but, I'm sure that Donna will be posting up on there. I know that she does already on the official Soma Fusion Media page, which is also where the show is posted up there as well. So the feed that you're actually looking at is also over there. So if you ever get lost, just think of Soma Fusion Media, and if you go there, you're definitely going to find the show. So, but yeah, there's a Facebook page. Go invite your friends, share it all. We're all in this as a harmonious community, and we're all building this up, because we literally just launched this network a week ago. So
yep.
We're growing so steadily that and we're wanting the community support, because we're doing this as a team. So we care just as much as you do about the show, as much as we care about the shows and you. So there you go.
And it's really not about just as an individual promoting our brand and marketing ourselves. We're operating as a sisterhood within the network. And, again, all women and everyone human wide, but women, can get quite catty towards each other sometimes. And it's really should be about lifting each other up, not grinding you down and kicking your knees out from under you while you scratch your eyes out and pull your hair. It's really about supporting each other and helping each other straighten each other's crowns, and realize that we're all queens in our own right, and goddesses, and capable. And again, it's a very male-dominated society and culture for any sort of media in general. So we're kind of breaking new ground here with this, and it's a beautiful thing to be part of a groundbreaking thing. I always love that. and I'm always on board for stuff like that, of course. Love a new adventure. Love the idea behind it and what it stands for. So, yeah, there's several other women who have shows on there as well, not just mine. Goddesses and Devils, which I just took over the helm for temporarily for Miss Amanda last night, who's going to be out for a while. That she does a show with Katie Kamara, who's off camera right now, but she is the one who, which we can put you on camera, Katie, maybe. I don't know if I'll show you on air or not, but anyways.
I could try, but I don't know if the Zoom will actually, it might freeze.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was showing you
Hang
right
on,
then or
let me-
not, but
I
anyway.
can do it.
Yeah,
Give me a
if you
second.
could see her, that was Katie. So she's the one who kind of started the ball rolling here, but we have several shows up and running on the new network, so feel free to check all those out. It's about getting to a man's heart with the stiletto through his chest. Who said that? Oh, Aaron, of course, figures. Aaron, you're a nut. I love you. You're my nut, but you're a nut.
That didn't come out right.
Aaron's, it didn't come out right. He's my kid. He's like my kid brother in every sense of the word. Yeah, no, that didn't come out right, did it?
No, it didn't.
Oh, well. I thought about that after the fact. If I'd only stopped there, that could have been a great comment. Oh, anyways, yeah. But we are there to support one another as we're growing. So we also very much appreciate everyone who listens in and watches from wherever you are listening and watching from. But we are going out around the world. And so Marianne's saying, not Deets Nuts. Nope, not Deets Nuts. We're not going to go there, Aaron. So if anybody has any questions in chat, but that'll be the game plan for next week then. I'll pull something from an older topic to cover. And I mean, I'll still go live because that's just my hand. And hell, I've fractured my wrist. I've been sick with the flu before. Not much stops me from doing my shows. I've only missed 2 in 2 years, 2.5 years time. One was Facebook's fault and one was because I was driving and couldn't go live. So that's a hell of a track record. I don't intend on breaking that easily. So that's more information than we needed, Aaron. I'm just saying. Oh, absolutely, Aaron. I mean, my biggest requirement for joining the other network was a lack of drama, which there wasn't. And you guys know I don't like drama of any variety. And there's a whole lot of it over there. And so I'm happy to be here where we're supporting each other without taking the time to stab one another in the back, on the side, which was happening a lot there, and kind of every person for themselves over there. And I don't work well with that. I think if you're on the same team, well, everybody should be supporting each other and not just being about, the individual and your show. That's all the only important thing. And thank you, Tanya. Yeah, it's just a tendon release. It's not a huge surgery, thankfully. It's going to be done under local anesthetic. So it's just a, snip. So basically, in the human hand, you have these tendons that run down through here that come and join into your wrist bones. And they're kind of like puppet strings, really, but they're extras, if you will. So they're not needed. They're not necessary, an absolute necessary for the functioning of one's hand. So when I had it done before on my right hand, they cut the one that's here. So I have a little scar. It just goes across the bottom base of the finger, and they just cut it. So it allows it to not catch on stuff anymore and cause problems. I have had, that's now 2 fingers that have had, it's called trigger finger, which is actually a thing, which I never knew it was actually a medical condition. I always thought it was like a snarky comment regarding Western gun shooters or something.
Or admins like me who are block happy.
Yeah, I always thought trigger finger was a gun shooting thing, not an actual medical condition, but it is a medical condition. So as a tendon moves through the sheath around it, it gets caught. It can get frozen in position. It can pop back, but it makes a clicking, and it's quite painful when it does and gets stuck. And so that's to fix that, so it doesn't, because they don't want to put any more cortisone in it because I've had so much already. So at this point, they're saying, well, sit on it, deal with it until surgery, which thankfully is this week. So looking forward to getting it done and taken care of. It was a walk in the park the last time. Support everyone that bats for the same team, though I don't really swing that way, but that's okay. I still support whatever team you bat for. You're funny, Aaron. Yeah, I really thought that it was always like a gun shooting reference thing, like the old westerns that, old Billy Bob's got a trigger finger on him. I never knew it was a medical condition, but it is. So yeah, this is the second time I've had it, and it's just a snipping of the tendon thing, and that's really it. So it should be pretty easy. Yes, we got that reference, Aaron. Thank you. Yeah, so I have, the only problems I had with it the last time was extreme spasms in there beyond what you normally get after a surgical procedure. It was like well after it should have been, it already came and went. It started up, but that was it. It was, 3-4 stitches, and so not a major thing, not worried at all. So, and I'll be happy to have it not keep doing that, because even now it's very stiff and painful to bend, and it gets stuck, and it kind of, you can't hear it on camera, but it will click when it gets going good, or it'll be frozen and I can't bend it at all, which, yeah. So having use of my thumb back will be a beautiful thing. You don't realize how much you use your thumbs for in fine motor skill stuff, and I can't right now. So anyhow, looking forward to getting it taken care of. So next week we will wing it. I will go through the old notebooks. Probably Aaron will help me sort through them and pick an older topic. No, you shall not say over the rainbow, Aaron. And we'll pick a topic to do for this coming Monday. So for the rest of this week, Friday, I will be on my page Beyond the Veil on Facebook doing readings. And then from there, Sunday, I will be on Goddesses and Devils with Katie, filling in for Amanda till she comes back to us, whenever that is, and however long that takes. I'm happy to do it for her. And then back in here on Monday. So that's the basic plan, guys. Yeah, you enjoy it when I include you on that stuff, Aaron. You know you do. No, he helped me once where we were trying to come up with a topic for the Beyond the Veil show on the other network, of going through all the different topics and kind of piecing them together to create a show long enough for a 3-hour show on the other network. Here it's only 2 hours, so it's easier to do. Sorry, my allergies are kicking up, and I've got dog hair stuck to me that's also probably going in my nose. And rainbows and unicorns, that's right. So thank you guys all for coming. I appreciate each and every one of you, as you know, and thank you for everyone who's listening in around the world and whatever time it is where you're at right now. It is 20 minutes to 10 p.m. here, so 9:40 here p.m. Are those beers, Amanda? I can't tell because the emoticons are so small on my side. And boobies, that's right. Rainbows, unicorns, and boobies. We love boobies, right? That is a reference to an older joke on an older show last month. So anyway.
If we start that business, then we're going to have to change the name of Goddesses and Devils.
Boobies! So thank you all for coming. Everyone is saying thank you to everyone, especially behind the scenes. Now everyone on my chat is yelling boobies. That's awesome. So thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate it. No, you got moobs, Aaron. See, it's a difference because you're a guy. Guys have moobs.
Oh, I don't have any.
You got to remember. You got to remember that Aaron was on that show.
He was on that show, correct? He's the one who started the boobies comment.
No, it wasn't. It was Daryl.
No, in my chat now.
Oh, okay.
Goddesses with Boobies, Aaron is saying, is for the name of the new show. And Amanda's coming out with it too. And yeah, we're getting everybody to talk about shaking their boobies on air. Yeah.
Well,
Primarily Aaron. anyways, on that note, he does, Marianne. He's got moobs. Yeah, moobs are man boobs. You know, we all know those guys who have boobs bigger than some women do and could use to bra themselves and don't. But so, you know, it's a cultural thing that guys can go topless, or it's not okay for women, but some guys shouldn't go topless. Just saying. I'm going to leave that alone too, Erin. But anyways, so thank you guys for listening in and for coming and for listening to our goofiness at the end. We do like to have fun, and to me, no topic is taboo. It doesn't matter what the topic is. Overall, I will cover it. I will bring it out into the light of day and shine a brighter light on it still and talk about it. So I don't believe in taboo topics because those turn into bad things. So yeah, better off not having taboos. Bye, Renee. Have a wonderful rest of the night. Signal the motorboat. So good night, everybody. Lots of love and light to everyone. And I will see you guys mostly around Facebook land. And I'll be back in here on Sunday night for Goddesses and Devils. So check out the new network, both online on the somafusion.com and on Facebook land as well. Give us a look-see. Take a look at some of the other shows that are on there. They're equally as good and just as powerful. Some are done just on the radio. For this week, I'm kind of breaking the ban on no video for last night. I didn't know we were not going to be on camera last night, so I still did my hair and makeup anyways, because nobody told me we weren't going to be on air. So yeah, I'm just sitting here dressed up with my hair and makeup done and for nothing, but that was all right. I at least look pretty for the time being. Yes, Soma Fusion. So anyways, lots of love and light to everybody. I'll see you guys around. You know that. So have a wonderful and rest of the night and week. I'll put a little update in to let y'all know I'm fine after my surgery. It's a minor little, you know, outpatient thing. So I'm not concerned at all. I know. I didn't know we weren't going to, you didn't say anything about not being on camera, Amanda. So I'm like, as I was talking to you last night, I was getting ready. So I didn't know we were not going to be on camera. So anyhow, it all worked out in the end, right? So anyhow, have a great night, everybody. Lots of love to everyone. Jake sends his love as well as he's getting resettled. For those who are new to me on camera anyways, that's my Dalmatian Jake. He's an old dog. He's my puppy. And my cat who's sleeping head down, little girl. So there we are. Okay. So thanks, everybody. Wonderful night. And I will talk to you guys again soon. Many blessings to everybody. Good night.